Hey there, Neil McDonnell here. I'm starting day 4 of the journey for creating a company, a government contracting company that goes to 1 million. Because I don't prepare this much, the opening is a little brutal. I might come up with a formal way of introducing each video, but if you're following along and you're committed, you won't care how like bumpy my opening is. Just as a quick reminder, I am starting a government contracting business in 2025, and I'm going to take it to $1 million in the first year to show people the process I've been teaching for the last 8 years. I spent 20 years as a government contractor with 2 government contracting businesses, both of them successful, both of them I started and grew. And then I spent the last 7 or 8 years or so teaching. And it was really important for me to come back, even though I was helping consulting with businesses and really helping their business. It was really important for me to come back and show you that I could build a new company following my exact same process. It is a process to drive towards success. If you have something you can sell, a solution or a service or a product to a problem the federal government has, then you can be successful. You just need to learn the skill. Government contracting, I say, is not a secret. It's a process, but it's also not a talent. It's a skill. And talents you're born with. Skills you can sit there and develop each year. So I'm going to drive through 365 days, taking you on this journey. I'm excited for those of you who are along. If you like what you see, throw something in the comments. First off, just lets other people know that the video is worth watching. And then I like engaging. I like seeing where you're at in your journey as well. Okay, so today is January 4th. It's the fourth day in the series. And just kind of giving, let me see if I can use some slides really quick as a way to do it. I don't use slides in this journey episode, set of videos, etc. But I am going to use it today instead of standing back by the whiteboard, because I have to show you some stuff on the screen and how I did what I did yesterday and a little bit today. So we're on a journey to $1 million in GovCon revenue. I named the company Nancy because I like remembering that my wife is the power behind me being able to do anything I've been doing for the last 20 plus years. I think we've been together a little longer than that. I mean, I know the answer. I just, it's in there. Okay, day 1, just to recap, I looked at what do I sell? I really wanted to cover down on what I sell. This is important to say because something came up today that impacts it. So day 1, I was like, okay, I sell communication outreach. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it means communication outreach is, what did I say? I think I said it the next day. Hold on. I said communication outreach is, and this is a little harder to see. Let me see if I can make myself smaller. Communication outreach, I said it's LinkedIn engagement, social media, and content creation. And then through day 1 and day 2, I then went through and I used a keyword tool that I have that we built in GovCon.com, and you can find it over there. It's free. But I built 50 keywords around these 3 main ones that I did. And as I did that, I started going, well, you know what? I might sit there and change what we're doing. I might change my priority to, outreach program, or somewhere in here was influencers. I like that. And so I began to get ideas of how can I communicate what I'm selling more to. But I did say I still was keeping with this communication outreach. The reason I want to pause for a second is because I just want to let you know it's okay, and it's really important to change your mind. I don't know if you know this, but in Silicon Valley, they never bet on the idea. They always bet on the team. And the reason is because the ideas can come and go. But if you got a good team that can execute, and if you are a good team for your business, right? If you're the right person, I'm the right person for my business, then as long as you stay in your area of expertise, that you can build a company that go forward. So don't stick to what you decided. So like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I said, oh, communication outreach. And then I went, you know what? That's not niching it down enough. I really want to niche down so people go, I want them to say, you're the LinkedIn guy. Or Nancy Co's the LinkedIn company. I don't actually want to say communication outreach. Communication outreach is definitely what we do, but I want to bring it even tighter. I want somebody who is doing communication outreach to look at me and go, oh, I could team with you. You could do LinkedIn and we could do the rest. I'm like, And so I think I'm going to come back and double down on really pushing on LinkedIn. And so I'll let you know as I go forward each day. But yesterday and today, and let me see where I'm at. Day 3 was yesterday. And today we're focusing on who buys what I sell. So what do I sell? And then who buys what I sell? And in this exercise yesterday, I was talking about how I need to identify the agencies, the program offices, and the contracting offices. So agencies are just the big organization that's buying. The program office is basically the people with the need. They actually want me to communicate on their behalf. And the contracting office is the one I have to talk to be able to, basically like a cashier at a grocery store, right? They're the ones I go up to. I go to the program office as the meat department or the bakery department or something. Then you got the cashier. So the two main tools that I will use for this initial day 3 and day 4 of finding who buys what I sell is USA Spending and FPDS. These tools, and I'll show you in a second, are really important tools for finding where the government has spent money before. Especially I'm looking to see where have you bought what I sell? And I sell LinkedIn, or I sell social media, or I sell communication outreach, etc. So I'm going to show you. And I don't know if I got anything on this last slide. Okay, so I'm just doubling down on this. This is day 4, so I'll probably come back and change this set of slides. But let me switch over. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to show you what I did in FPDS. If you don't know what FPDS is, it is the Federal Procurement Data System. Federal Procurement Data System, or FPDS, we never say the whole name. FPDS is where the government records everything they bought. There's something called sam.gov. You're probably familiar with it. In sam.gov, they record a lot of what they bought, but they also record a lot of what they want, right? So it's different tools, different purposes. And then just full circle, there's something called USA Spending. USA Spending is basically a pretty version of FPDS's data. It's got some other data in there, but USA Spending is actually not a data source. And so I like going into FPDS because it's got the raw data. I like going to USA Spending because it's easier to navigate. And you'll see what I mean here on how raw this data is. This tool here was built back in the before the country was formed, I think. So it's that old. Okay, so I'm on this tool. Actually, usually I got my phone up so I can track how long I'm talking. So hopefully I'll try to remember and keep this to be a short video. But I'm just in FPDS. I type whatever I want in here. And when I do, it takes me to this screen. I wish there was an easier way for me to come here. I'm sure I could save the URL, but I just typed FPDS. Okay, so I just want to show you really quickly how I enter in a search. I go to Advanced button. So this Advanced Search button allows me to choose the fields I want. I want a new search, and I'm going to say add, and I'm looking to add fields that matter to me. So the first one I'm going to do is date signed. What I'm looking for is contracts that have been awarded in the last 2 or 3 years. That's basically what I'm looking for. That's more than enough for me to get started, and it keeps it relevant. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say, show me from October 2021 all the way till today. And so basically, October 2021 is what we call fiscal year 22. So I'm looking at 3 government fiscal years, fiscal year 22, 23, and 24. That's more than enough room for me to hopefully find what I'm looking for. So that's the first field I search for. And then in this search, I'm also going to say, show me a description field. And so this is the field I really want you to pay attention to when you go into FPDS. You want to search on the description of the requirement. There's all sorts of fields in there, but this one is the one where I will find keywords. And that's what I'm trying to do in today's exercise. And so I'm going to use something like small business outreach, I think. Hopefully that'll work. So now I got small business outreach. If I search small business, I've already done this in previous years where I've done searches like this. And sometimes it'll just have small business in there, but it's completely unrelated. But when I put these 3 keywords in, it's a lot more likely that what I'm looking for is in here. So I'm going to hit search. And when I do, it's pretty cool. I come up with 25 entries in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time inside of DSBS, but I am going to show you if I click in. So this is a table, and each big row here is a contract that was signed, basically. And so if I click on this, and I know that company, Riva, they're a really good company run by great people, but I can come in here and start looking at FPDS. And I've done other videos where you can learn, training videos where you can learn about it, but this is just more of a journey video. But I can come in here and go, okay, look, there's 88,000 for some contract, whatever that was. And it was a very short contract. It was only July through October, right? And so I'll take 88,000. I mean, my goal is $1 million by the end of 2025. If I can pick up 100,000 here and 100,000 there, it's going to add up, right? Okay, I can see right away the agency is the Department of Agriculture. So USDA is the Department of Agriculture. This one's a little different, but I can see that the contracting office, remember I said I want to look for the contracting office. Let me zoom in a little bit. In here, I can see this acquisition management branch. And I don't need to talk to you a lot about it, but I will go over to Google and go to USDA and say, hey, show me an org chart. Let me find this 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗃 acquisition, right? I'm fairly familiar with it, but that's the contracting office. So now I know the agency, I know the contracting office, and right here is the funding agency. And this is where basically it's the program office. The agency or the office that's funding it is the program office generally, right? There's always exceptions, but generally. And so I can see right here, for some reason, the CIO, the Chief Information Officer of USDA, looked for small business outreach. That's pretty cool, actually, because I would never have thought of that office until I just saw that, right? This is cool. I got 20, 30 years of experience, and I've got 8 years as an expert teaching this, and I just learned something new. You never know everything, right? But you know a pattern. Okay, so today's exercise is who buys what I sell. I just did the agency, the contracting, and funding offices. Now, I just want to show you what that description looks like so we can see it. So here I can see the CIO is doing something with Drupal. They're doing website development, and they're doing it for the 𝗟𝗶, the Office of Small Business, Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization. But basically, this is super cool because I can see that they are spending money. It gives me a pattern to follow. I can go, hey, you know, websites are cool, but LinkedIn is more cool. Let me talk to you about what I sell. All right, so I'm going to end there on that part because I'm just trying to show you how I can go in here, search for small business, and find some opportunities, go in and start seeing the agency. I can come over here, by the way, if you look here, I can begin to see just off a very quick view on the left-hand side of FPDS's data. I'm looking at USDA, HHS, Nuclear Regulatory Commission. That's a pretty interesting one, but DOE is huge. And then DOD, it's really cool. They only got 2. And I'm like, all right, what do you describe small business outreach as? And so it's a whole different exercise. And here I can see contracting offices, blah, blah, blah. So I'll come back and talk about FPDS many times on this journey. I wanted to show you one more thing on FPDS, and then I'm going to show you a different way of looking at it. Here I did LinkedIn, and I was like, yes, there's 362 opportunities. I know right away when I see Carahsoft Technology that it almost always is selling licenses. I just happen to know that business. It could be services, but almost always it's licenses. So I'm going to look at this one that says LinkedIn, and it's 100,000, which is awesome. And it was one and done. They just bought it, and I'm pretty positive it's licensing. But here, it's EOP, the Executive Office of President. My last company, I actually had a contract in EOP. I was working the White House and the executive, old executive building or whatever. I was working in there during the Obama and Trump administrations, right? So I recognize this, but EOP, I'm like, okay, Office of Administration, that's a particular department within EOP that runs a lot of the day-to-day activity within that organization. And then I could see here that it was bought from the funding office that was looking at it was OMB. So this is really good for me. I understand where it's at. And EOP, by the way, Executive Office of President, it's really small. So it's not like it's the Army or something that's huge. They've got a very small footprint, but at least I know who it is. Now let's go look at the description. Whoa, perfect. So LinkedIn recruiter licenses. This is really eye-opening to me, and I'll talk more about it another day in the journey. But I'm like, okay, first off, I know you just bought LinkedIn, and I can tell you how you can save $100,000 on recruiting by doing LinkedIn engagement, which is what I sell. Can I come in and talk to you? Kind of thing, right? That's going to be my approach, but this is perfect. And keep in mind, I just clicked on one of 362, and the first one I clicked on gives me a path to where I want to go. And I'm going to show you one more. Let me just look for an easy one. All this Peace Corps stuff, USDA. Let me find somebody else. Come on. Show me somebody interesting. Actually, I'm going to come up here. And if I come over here, I can go to DHS. So Homeland Security, now I can go in here. And I'm going to sort it really quick by action obligations. And basically, I'm saying, show me the biggest contract first. Right here, this is DHS, and let's go in and look at it. But it's $400,000, right? $400,000. It's DHS. I don't know who that So it's coming out of the chief human capital. This means they're probably doing recruiting again. So let's go on down. To obtain the yearly LinkedIn subscription for recruitment and talent seeking solutions. I can show them how they can avoid $400,000 cost if they give me $10,000 a month, right? Whatever it is. But recruitment is just finding resumes. It's like, that's not hard, but you want to attract talent into DHS. And I'm going too far, but you get my point. All right, I did another search where I said social media. That was another keyword. Here was 707 opportunities in the last 3 years that allow me to find who's buying this. And the same thing with industrial base. I don't know if I had more over there. Hold on. So industrial base. Industrial base is another way of saying small business or vendors like you and me, right? Vendors to the government. We're called the industrial base. The Defense Department calls us DIB, Defense Industrial Base. So anyway, so I got a lot in here. This one has 459, which is awesome. So let me close this for a second and switch over to one other window. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm going to replace something. I don't want to shoot all this again. So I have a particular tool, share. Where am I going? Is this LinkedIn? Good. So GovCon in a box, I'm a co-founder in there, and it's where we're building tools. So that keyword tool, for example, it's a free tool, but we have other tools that we use that are just for our clients. To speed up our process. And that tool allows me to really pull down and look at all this data. So FPDS, you can download data, but ironically, you can't see the description. And so I just want to show you when I look at these LinkedIns, let me just hit Control F, description. Next. I should have said something else. Claimant, come on, description and requirement. Let me just write that down really quick. So because I'm going to do this again, Control A, Control C. Okay, so in here, now I'm able to look through and browse and go, what are they buying? I already showed you how easy it is to find the contracting office, the program office, and the agency. Like, not just how easy it is, but how I look at it. Those fields are earlier in the spreadsheet over to the left. But what I wanted to look at is this. Where'd I go? Okay, here. So look at this. They're paying for LinkedIn Learning. It's like, what are you doing out there? That's crazy. That's what YouTube's for. But here, some subscription services, LinkedIn social media service, 1 month period of performance. I don't know what that is, but that's attracting me in there. And so if I just look down, I'm looking at most of these. The cool thing about this is most of these are licenses, right? And what I want to do, and I did this before, my last company, it was a Microsoft SharePoint company. And the reason I built it was because I had customers like 1099 corp to corp type customers. And in the commercial side, we were doing SharePoint. We were really good at it. And so I said, well, why don't we just create a SharePoint company going after the government? And the reason is because the government, 90% of the agencies had Microsoft SharePoint licenses already. And all we had to do was chase the licenses and say, hey, I know you got it, but do you know how to use it? And we were able to go in there and show our expertise. And so if you could do something similar. And so for me, I'm starting a LinkedIn company, right? I want to go find those people with licenses. I also searched on social media. So let me just do this one, just kind of showing you a couple of times. Control F. No, Control V. First time I'm using Excel. It's a brand new game to me. Okay, so here, this is an interesting one as I just come down. I have to be careful. Like, I have no interest in some of the stuff. Like, I'm not a person who's going to be able to analyze how people are using social media. That's not what I'm doing. I want to be able to help you use social media. And so what I'm trying to say is anybody using, like here, social media management services? They don't say anything else. I'll show you again further in the journey, but I will go find this opportunity and see if I can find a requirements document that tells me what the work is. And social media management services, I'm pretty darn positive that those are the type of people I want. Here's digital media services, including content for the web and social media. The thing I like about this, sorry, this is a little hard, but hold on one second. Okay, thing I like about this is row 14 right there. It says 8A stars 2. It instantly gives me an idea, and I'll show you how I do it later. But there's 1,200 8A stars 3 companies. That's the new one. And if I know that opportunities have come out in the past on stars 2, then I'm going to go find all those 8A stars 3 companies and try to tell them about what I do and say, hey, can I team up with you? I'll be the LinkedIn expert. I'll come underneath you. You put 5 or 10% on top of me and we'll go make money together, right? I mean, that's my way of thinking. So if I come down here, though, I can see this social media for recruiting. Here's just looking for some of these others. Tool services, management tools, monitoring. I'm sure they're buying like HubSpot and things like that. And that's all good for me because I can go in there and say, hey, we can do this really, really well. And what I'll probably do is really try to approach the people who have won these contracts and get them to walk me in so that they, like I said, they can make money on top of me, but we can go in there and be an expert. All right, so this last one I searched on was, so LinkedIn was a keyword, then social media was a keyword. Now I'm searching on industrial base as a keyword. Let me just Control V that guy so I can get right to that column. Okay, so in here, I'm saying industrial base. And so this one, logistical support of aviation for industrial base operations. So this one's a little harder because some of it's construction. And what I'll probably do is go over to the column that has the NAICS code, and I'll filter it by really high level NAICS codes like, 541, 210, or 511 or whatever, anything that's more like information and IT, et cetera. But if I come down here, I'm just trying to look at it like industrial base resilience. That's a really interesting one. And it makes me feel like they're talking about trying to build up the industrial base. The Department of Defense has stated this as a huge concern. And so is the administration, right? The White House talking about it's a national security issue that they don't have enough industrial partners or small business partners, et cetera, right, from around the country. Now, I personally think you are sitting out there and waiting for them and you just can't find them. But my job in this new company, 𝗟𝗂𝗃𝗃, is to bring them to you. All right. So a lot of this stuff is, I can already see industrial base is just probably not a good keyword for me here. It's a very good keyword on my marketing material because I know that my target audience will latch onto it. But it looks like I'm not going to be able to find a lot of opportunities where buyers are using industrial base as a keyword to find services like mine. They're using the keyword for something different, which is fine. Just coming back to this slide. Where am I? Coming back to 2 slides back. This slide, right? I've got 52 keywords. I haven't even, I guess I did social media, but I haven't done content creation. I haven't used LinkedIn engagement. I used something else. Well, I guess LinkedIn covered all of it, but public awareness campaigns, all these other ones. Okay, so where am I? Day 4, January 4th, on a journey to $1 million. I'm just diving into finding the companies that are, or the agencies that are buying. So I'm going to spend, I don't know how much time I've been on this recording. Oh, there you go, 23 minutes, a little longer than I expected, but whatever. It's worth $1 million. But I'm going to spend the other 45 minutes or 35 minutes or so finishing diving further into finding out who buys what I sell. I don't need to do a ton. So tomorrow when I come back to you, I'm just going to say, hey, here's day 4's slide. I'm going to update that slide. And on that slide, I'm just going to say, here's where I'm finding a lot of people doing social media. That's what I want to go after. And so I have found some of the top agencies based on that same research I just did. I found a bunch of agencies that look like they're buying what I sell. And so when I go knocking on doors someday down the road, I'll have a place where I decide this is where I'm going to start because these are the agencies and offices. Now I'm going to start finding people that align to those. And again, that'll be down the road. But all right, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. And do me a favor, if you like this, give it a thumbs up, give it a comment. Let me know that you're enjoying this. I will see you in the next episode, which is tomorrow. I'm feeling good, so I won't be sick.